What's going on, people? What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Gunner's Corner. It's your boy CJ with another player ratings going up as a result of Arsenal beating Wigan in the FA Cup fourth round, I believe is the fourth. It is the fourth round, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe someone can fact check that for me. But Arsenal has won and beaten Wigan 4-0 in the FA Cup, which puts us on to the fifth round of the FA Cup. I can guarantee that is correct. It is the fifth round next for Arsenal. Our draw is yet to be determined, but as of today, um, 4-0 winners against Wigan, League One side Wigan, a poor Wigan side. So it's always going to be a straightforward result, you would think. But yeah, brilliant result for the Arsenal. Some big stand-up performances and we're here to dissect it. This is the player ratings segment, and we will, yeah, let's dive into it. I mean, why not? Without further ado, we'll go straight into it. Um, Kepa in goal. Um, solid enough performance from Kepa. I did mention once recently in another recent video that Kepa's got to keep performing because he's going to look to keep the shirt. Is Kepa for the League Cup final that we have coming up in March. So, Kepa's going to want to keep clean sheets, keep up consistent performances and kind of keep it rolling. And I think he's managed to do that today, steady as she goes, not much to do. Dealt with a couple crosses well, dealt with the aerial balls, um, played a good couple passes out the back. So pretty straightforward for an experienced goalkeeper like Kepa. Clean sheet, not much to do. What do I give him? Um, Give, I'm in a good mood. We won the game. Kepa gets a 7. Clean sheet. I'm happy with what he's doing so far with us so far when he comes in. Ben White at right back. He had an okay game. A couple times he was disconnected and not on the same page with Madueke in the first half. We saw a couple times, Ben White would try and get on the overlap, but was flagged offside. Maybe Madueke delayed the ball a little bit too long for him on a couple of occasions. Um, but yeah, overall, I mean, I think important minutes for Ben White. Um, he did come out late in the game, Ben White. He had to come off, so hopefully that's not a serious injury because just our luck. Um, these things tend to happen to Arsenal every now and then. Game after game, one injury or another, or it's rare we get through a full 90 minutes without somebody coming off with some sort of knock or niggle. So hopefully that's not serious for the likes of Ben White, but. Yeah, he got minutes in his legs, didn't do anything stand out. Didn't do anything too badly either way. So um, Ben White gets a decent rating. Still, maybe give Ben White a 6. Ben White a 6. I think that's fair. William Saliba at center back. He came in, I think as I predicted, to be fair. Came in and did a job. As he always does. Saliba, rarely ever puts a foot wrong, and you don't expect him to put a foot wrong against this level of opposition. You don't expect anyone um, on that Wigan side to trouble him too tough, to be fair. So overall, yeah, steady enough performance from Saliba. We expect a lot out of him already. So I think Saliba probably gets a standard 7 as well. Again, kept a clean sheet. Did everything right from what we're expecting of him. So 7, 7 for Saliba. Mascara. Um, I was impressed with his performance once again, man. He comes in and he's never put a foot wrong as well, Christian Mascara. Um, he dealt with everything aerially. He's pretty good with the ball at his feet, if you guys notice as well. I like the composure he shows at times and plays some good passes out the back, is able to carry a little bit as well. Um, Similar to what Saliba likes to do when he carries it out of the back. Mascara can do that to some extent, and he's got a good eye for a pass as well. Again, taking the opposition into account, he wasn't troubled too much, but I think he deserves a standard 7 as well. Lewis Skelly at left back. Um, I would like to say, by the way, the whole starting 11 that I predicted, if you guys watched the pre-match preview, I was pretty much spot on with all bar one. Saka was the only one, or not Saka, sorry. Well, yeah, I guess Saka. I predicted Saka to start, if I'm not mistaken, and Madueke did end up starting in this game. And we'll touch on how the lineup got reshuffled and rejigged shortly. Um, but Lewis Skelly had to play left back in this one in the end. Because a certain Ricardo Calafiori came off injured in the warm-up again, and we'll wait to hear more about how serious that is and what that's all about. But quite disappointing again, man. That left back position is a curse at Arsenal. Going back to the Tierney days and maybe even before that. For those of you who have been supporting the club long enough to remember the likes of Kieran Gibbs, um, just injury upon injury at left back, never been settled, never been steady. Um, Ricardo Calafiori injured again in the warm-up. Not good. That guy. First half of the season, he played a lot of minutes and showed a consistent level for us. But lately, picking up, one or two niggling injuries again, going back to the injury-prone nature that he showed last season. So we'll see what that's all about. But it's very frustrating as far as I'm concerned. Very frustrating, at a time where we need to be keeping our players fit and, our better performers, right? Calafiori has been a trusted member of the starting 11 for us, but now he's picking up injuries again at a frequent pace. So not good. Which meant that Lewis Skelly had to come in at left back. Otherwise, if Calafiori was okay to start the game as he intended to, we were going to see Lewis Skelly in midfield. It looks like, that midfield three was going to be, by the looks of things, Lewis Skelly, Eberechi Eze, and Christian Norgard to make up the midfield three. But again, with Calafiori going out, Lewis Skelly had to drop in at left back. So it's frustrating. But anyways, as a result, nonetheless, Lewis Skelly, played in the fullback position or the inverted fullback position. Did what he does. He good on the ball, tidy touches and possession. A couple neat passes here and there. Um, but defensively, right? I think this season we're seeing defensively. This is where the likes of Lewis Skelly is being a little bit found out. He got booked again in this game, which wasn't great. Couple rash challenges, couple late challenges. His one-on-one defending has not been the best so far this season, Miles Lewis Skelly. Um, and he's had a good performances still at left back this season. Don't get me wrong. At the San Siro, he against Inter Milan, he did start and play there and played well that game. But I think we're kind of seeing overall he is maybe third choice, sometimes fourth choice when neither Hincapié or Ricardo Calafiori are available. We've seen Arteta opt to put Urian Timber, sorry, at left back ahead of Lewis Skelly at times, which is concerning for Lewis Skelly. I want him to be confident as a player. He's a confidence player and he needs a good run in the team. And belief, he needs to know that he's believed in. There's faith in him there, and no doubt he does have to improve his one-on-one defending. Like I said, the rash challenges, we don't want that to cost us in the bigger, better games. So, yeah, Lewis Skelly for me, slightly kind, but I'll give him a 6. Again, he's still part of a back four that kept a clean sheet, wasn't troubled largely too much overall in the game, but aside from a couple of late challenges, as I mentioned, but I'll give him a 6. I'll be kind, man. I'll be kind. Um, Christian Norgard. Came in and another player, similar to Ben White that I've mentioned, who rarely ever puts a foot wrong. He hasn't played poorly since he's come into this side ever. Christian Norgard hasn't let us down, and he's a good squad player. That's what it is. He knows what he is. I'm pretty sure. He'll know that he's a squad player in this team and a crucial one at that. Should still play more minutes in the Premier League, in my opinion. Doesn't play enough in the Prem. Should be trusted more there because we can't burn out Rice or Zubimendi. So, but yeah, Christian Norgard coming in did well. Did well. 7.5 for me. Um, yeah, 7.5. Player of the match, some would say, some would argue. I would say, you know what, and I'm going to jump the gun a little bit. Maybe it's between him and Eze, player of the match. But Christian Norgard, 7.5. 7.5, I'm happy with what he did. Um, maybe not so, maybe, okay, maybe not player of the match, but pretty damn close, top two, top three. Um, Christian Norgard, but I'll give him a 7.5 because, like I said, yeah, just tidy in possession, cleans up. When we're on the when we're against the run of play and the teams are coming on to us in transition, cleans up pretty well. I think he's more, he's obviously got a bit more bite about him maybe than as Mendy, right? More physicality, been in the Premier longer, so he can deal with the physical nature. And you'd like to see him come in against sides like Brentford when we're up against it, when the game's getting physical or Sunderland away, famously at the Stadium of Light when Zubimendi was struggling a little bit. There's games in the Premier League where Christian Norgard is suited to coming in when we're up against it, or the game gets physical and it's getting, rough and dogged out there. You like to see Christian Norgard in those moments more. But hopefully we do see a little bit more of him because I wouldn't mind seeing it. To be honest with you, certainly off the bench. You know what I mean? So Christian Norgard 7.5. Eberechi Eze, I'll say that he is the player of the match. Firm, steady player of the match. Eberechi Eze. We needed a performance like this from him. You know, um, two assists, two brilliant assists to open up the game. Um, the the first ball. I mean, I guess both in both assists, but I want to call the first one out in particular for Madueke's goal. It was a brilliant pass to break the line, split right down the middle, perfectly weighted pass. We know that's what Eze can do, and we've just needed to see it more. And we called for him to have a big game this game because of, um, how much we need him in the Premier League and the other major competitions. He's going to be playing for a place for in the cup for the cup final coming up. He's got to play first place with regards to that as well. Again, Odegaard obviously picked up a little bit of a knock. Kai Havertz and Marino out injured. Eze's got to hold the shirt. He may be, playing in that number 10 position or that attack midfield position or come somewhere in this midfield to contribute and play crucial minutes. So he's got to feel part of it as well. He's another confidence player. And we know what he can do. He just needs to have that belief and faith in himself, um, to shine through. And we needed this from him today. So two big assists, the first one being for Madueke's goal to open it up. Um, and then the assist for Gabriel Martinelli as well, was crucial. Um, we needed that to, just to give us a little bit of a comfort blanket in the game. And again, like what I like about Eze is that he likes to break the lines with forward thinking passes. He does that really well. He looks forward first, looks to break the lines. And again, he's just got to continue to do that. And you saw the way he was getting on the ball. You can tell that he was, getting rhythm and confidence in this game. Could have scored a couple of times, a couple of good saves from the keeper from Eze's efforts. But yeah, this is what we like to see, and I need to see more of this from him going forward. So hopefully we can see that. Um, and I'll give him an 8 because particularly for that first pass alone for Madueke's goal was beautiful. The weight of pass, I love to see it. Like that's the good football I love to see at the Emirates Stadium. So that alone was a mesmerizing ball in behind. But the fact that he got two assists, played the full game, got on the ball heavy. More so in the first half than the second. Second faded out a little bit, but still did his thing, kept it tidy, kept it ticking, and was positive going forward. So 8 for Eberechi Eze. Long may this continue. We need it. Madueke on the right wing. Or sorry, before that, Bukayo Saka kind of made up that midfield three, playing in the inside right number 8 position or attacking midfield position, however you want to call it, floating along there. Combined it well, Saka, with Madueke. And again, he wasn't meant to start, although he was in my predicted 11 to start on the right wing. He had to come in, Saka, because of Calafiore's injury, which meant we had to shuffle things around. So Saka sort of playing in that right 8 position, I guess the one that Odegaard will typically occupy when he's in the team. Saka combined really well with Madueke. We saw that combination on the right there. Um, Madueke and Saka combination led to and contributed to scoring the third goal with Saka's ball um, being cut back from the goal line. That led to the own goal that was scored for the third. So yeah, Saka was positive, and I think he's suited there. There's a question to be asked: can he play there more going forward? You know, that area of the pitch may suit him. He's strong, robust. He doesn't get bullied off the ball often like we see from Odegaard, to be fair. That's one thing we say we criticize Odegaard for is his lack of strength in those areas. Sometimes, when the game gets physical. But Saka can definitely more than hold his own. We've seen that on a number of occasions. Even when he's playing out wide, Saka, he's strong, a strong boy, a strong lad, and he's again another guy who's relatively tidy in possession, takes care of the ball well, can get on the half turn. So those inside central spaces, maybe we can see him more often there and get himself in positions where he's at the edge of the 18, being able to shoot from outside the box on his left. So I thought he did quite well. He got 45 minutes under his belt coming back from an injury, which is positive. You want him to get more minutes because we have important games coming up this week. Um, and yeah, good enough performance from Saka. Um, I'll give him a 6.5, Saka. 6.5. Martinelli, I said to the boys, Laurent and Merdad in the group chat that we have, Martinelli just winds me up, man. Like really, really sometimes just pisses me off. And because at the moment or this season, Martinelli's been doing well in the cups. He's our cup forward at the moment because he seems to just turn up for cup games. Great finish. Eze's ball into him led to Martinelli's goal, which was the second goal, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it was a great finish from Martinelli, but where was that finish? Left peg on Thursday against Brentford in the dying embers of the game, the 90th plus minute. But today, Wigan at home at the Emirates, no pressure. He slots that in nicely, does Martinelli, and we need to see more of him from the Premier League. It's all well good and well doing it in the group stage of the Champions League or cup games in the League Cup and in FA Cup, and when you're playing inferior sides, but Martinelli, man, step the hell up, please, in the Premier League. We need more out of you in crucial moments, you know. So yeah, it was just annoying. Happy for him that he scored today and got a full run, go full 90 under his belt again. But dude, put these performances in, show this level of confidence and this level of goal threat, and clinical nature when we're playing important games in the Premier League. That's what I need to see from Martinelli. But for this game, um, positive enough for him. I'll give Martinelli a 7. I'll give Martinelli a 7. Gabriel Jesus started up top. Um, Huffed and puffed, Gabriel Jesus. Um, what more is there to say, really? Huffed and puffed, Jesus wasn't particularly a goal threat for the most part. Trying to really remember his performance. He just kind of floated about the pitch as he usually does, a couple tidy things here and there. Not the full game. Um, but yeah, Gabriel Jesus, not much to say. I'm gonna give him a 6. Harsh, I don't know. Kind, I don't know. You guys tell me. Drop your opinions in the comments, really, and let me know what you guys think. But Gabriel Jesus for me is a 6. Maybe that's one of the more difficult ratings of the night. But he was busy, got himself about, but nothing spectacular. 6. Let's go to the bench. First off the bench, Victor Gyökeres came in at halftime for Bukayo Saka. Hit the post. Gyökeres, got about their defenders as he usually does. He causes a different problem for defenses. We know that. Whether he's scoring or not, he just is busy. He keeps defenses honest and gives them a rough day. Defenders will always go home with a few niggles or knocks playing against the Gyökeres just because of the physical nature of him. Got one of the defenders booked. The defender went in with a rash, harsh challenge on Victor Gyökeres when Gyökeres was on the left channel there. Um, so yeah, did his thing. Um, but not too much to affect the game really. Gyökeres, like I said, got the clear cut chance when he hit the post. But that was about it really. So I'll just give him a standard 5. Nothing crazy. Um, who else came in? Marley Salmon, I think, was the second one off the bench. He came on in the 61st minute. Um, our young Marley Salmon came in and did a job, slotted in beside Mascara, Christian Mascara for the most part, and did his thing, held his own without much to do. He did his thing, but it's more minutes for a good young player like himself. 16 years old, I believe, is Marley Salmon, something like that, if I'm not mistaken, which is crazy. Um, Standard 5 for him though. Again, did his thing, didn't put a foot wrong, wasn't troubled too much either. So standard 5. Leandro Trossard, third of 5 substitutions I came on in this game. Um, yeah, standard 5 for Trossard. Not too much was done in the way of impact. Again, he caused a little bit of problems down that left side. Tricky little player is Trossard for any fullback. But yeah, standard 5. Did a couple of good things, a few good crosses, twisting the fullback up left and right. Um, got a few crosses in with his left, got a few crosses in with his right foot, and does what Trossard does. But standard 5. Um, 79th minute, as mentioned before, Zubimendi came in, and that was for Christian. Sorry, it was for Ben White. Ben White came out in the 79th minute. Zubimendi came in for him. Again, hopefully Ben White's injury isn't serious. But Zubimendi, yeah, not too much time to really sort of do anything in the game. Um, Standard five, Zubimendi. Tommy Setford came in the 87th minute for Kepa in goal, which you don't normally see goalkeeper substitutions too often, but um, this one was to give Setford some minutes and some relatively brief experience and to give him a bit of a debut. I mean, certainly a debut in this competition for him, if I'm not mistaken, Setford. So another one of our young stars on the rise, and yeah, got some 5 minutes or so here and there. 5 minutes in this game. Again, he probably had one catch and then maybe played out the back a couple of times from a goal kick. Um, but yeah, good for another young up and coming goalkeeper and Tommy Setford. So standard five for him as well. Mikel Arteta, 7. I think that's it's good enough rating. Picked a decent lineup. Made some decent subs. Um, and yeah, not much for him to do to affect the game. I mean, whatever lineup he would have put out, we expected to get the job done. Happy that the likes of Gabriel and Declan Rice got a full rest. I was disappointed that Max Dowman wasn't on the bench at least. He should have at least been on the bench, in my opinion, to get a run out. Surely he could have come in this game, but it wasn't to be. So, which is fine. It is what it is. Hopefully, we see Max at some point in maybe the next round of the FA Cup. And speaking of the next round of the FA Cup, we I think the draw for that is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Today is Sunday, the 15th of February, and I think the draw for the next round of the FA Cup is on the 16th of February, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow being Monday, so I'll keep an eye out for that. But big week ahead. This midweek we play um, Wolves on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just confirm that. Wednesday, 3 p.m. kickoff over here in North America, at least, or in Toronto, Canada. 3 p.m. kickoff. Wolves versus Arsenal in the Premier League. Another big game, another chance for us to get 3 points, put some more points on the board, scoreboard pressure to Man City. And then next weekend, I think a week today, we go to the shithole, the Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, to play Spurs in the North London Derby in the Premier League. So a lot of content this week coming up and building up to those games. Another massive week ahead for the Arsenal as we roll on in this season. We are recording an episode, a podcast episode tonight. The boys, the three of us will be back recording tonight, which will come out for you guys tomorrow as well on Monday, the 16th. You guys will get that recording with myself, Laurent, and Murdad on the channel. So please, again, as I always say, continue to like, share, subscribe for us. It really, really does help our channel, and we thank you for being there with us and supporting us as we continue on our journey. We're growing, we're expanding, plenty of ideas and positivity and things that we're striving towards that you guys are going to enjoy, I think. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, drop any comments, right? If you guys agree or disagree with the player ratings. And yeah, we roll on onwards and upwards. And the yeah, we'll see what this week has to bring and hopefully some more big wins for the Arsenal. All right, so this has been CJ from the Gunners Corner, and this was the player ratings and give us your feedback and your responses and what you thought as well. All right, take care until the next one. Bye bye.